Hello everybody, today I'm once again talking about my unpopular opinions. Now if you're new here, consider subbing and ring the bell. So the last unpopular opinions video that I did for like general topics was almost a year ago, and I know I did one for Disney parks and stuff like that, but today I kind of wanted to talk about more of my unpopular opinions because I couldn't fit them into one video before. So yeah, let's get started. So number one is gender reveals are dumb. So I just never got the hype of them. Now, I feel like these past few years they've really gotten more mainstream, and personally I think for all the wrong reasons, because I feel like gender reveals parties are not really safe anymore. Like, I feel like most people are really taking it over the top more than necessary, and even then I just think it's kind of pointless to have a whole celebration on what gender your baby is gonna be. I just think it's kind of pointless. And the fact that people are literally getting killed by gender reveals parties, it's just so dumb how much people blow their budget for it. And I remember the one when it caused a wildfire in California. But yeah, gender reveal parties I think are kind of dumb. So yeah, that's number one. Number two is TikTok is toxic. So this is kind of crazy because I feel like I'm kind of in a little bit of a minority here, because honestly, I've always hated TikTok. Like, I just think it's such a terrible platform. I've tried it multiple times, and I don't get it. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, I know people who actually are funny on there, but the majority of the TikToks that I see are like talentless people going viral and like these hype houses and stuff like that. It's just so annoying, and that horrible TikTok voice, which I absolutely can't stand, is everywhere. Yeah, that voice is really annoying. Like, I hear that more than I want to. So yeah, so TikTok I think is a toxic platform, and I also think that it's just a lot of trends that have originated on TikTok has really caused damage to people. I feel like if TikTok never existed, I feel like some of these trends wouldn't have happened, like the devious licks challenge and stuff like that. So yeah, I have never gotten the hype of TikTok, and I just think it sucks. So yeah, that's number two. Number three is retro game collecting is no longer fun. Now, I did mention in the game console collection video that retro gaming collecting has gotten really expensive. And I think I've come to the conclusion that it's just no longer fun anymore because of the prices. I remember I went to an antique store recently and they were charging top dollar for these retro games. Like, I remember they charging Contra for $60, which is freaking insane. And the worst part is that they didn't even know if it was authentic copies or not. They just said, oh, we're not responsible because these might not be authentic, they might be reproduction. And I'm like, I'm the type of person that I want real copies. I don't want reproductions. It's just getting harder and harder to like retro gaming collecting, because I think it's just the prices are the main reason. Retro gaming collecting is no longer fun unless you have a lot of money for it. And I'm pretty much broke right now, so I can't collect as many video games as I used to. So yeah, that's number three. Number four is I don't like most bumper stickers. So I'm the type of person that I've had a bumper sticker on my Toyota Corolla before with my previous car, but I feel like bumper stickers, most of them are kind of stupid. Like that infamous like stick figure family one that I just think is kind of stupid. I just feel like it kind of like messes up the car, because if you try to take them off, like I've heard stories of like people taking the paint off a little bit. And I feel like there might be bumper stickers that are a little bit more easier to peel off. But I'm just the type of person that I like the car that it's originally supposed to look like. I don't really like adding things like that to it, unless if it's like a logo or something like that I really love. But yeah, I just think bumper stickers, most of them I don't like. There are a couple that are really cool, but it's just, if you don't want the bumper sticker a couple years from now, it's a pain in the butt to take off. Because I remember with the Toyota Corolla that I had, it was a really big pain in the butt to take it off. So yeah, that's number four. Number five is the Disney parks are no longer worth it. So I think people are starting to realize this more and more, because like the last time I went to a Disney park was in 2019 with Disneyland Paris. It's just too expensive, man. There's not really a reason to go to a Disney park hotel anymore, because the hotels are taking away all the perks right now. And I just feel like each year Disney's getting more greedy with their stuff, and hopefully it's going to be turning around a little bit when Bob Iger is the CEO now, because I think Bob Chapek has been a horrible CEO, probably one of the worst ones Disney has ever had. I just feel like Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure is really starting to get ahead of them, and I think that's why Bob Chapek quote-unquote stepped down. Honestly, I think they fired him because he was declining the company. And not to say that Bob Iger is going to be like the savior of everything, but I hope he makes it a little bit better. And I mentioned that in my thoughts on Bob Iger becoming the CEO video. Even though Bob Iger is not my favorite CEO, I think he's probably a lot better than Bob Chapek. So yeah, that's number 5. Number 6, Valentine's Day is pointless. So I know that Valentine's Day is coming up in a couple days, but I just think the whole holiday is pointless. I just feel like when people have a crush on somebody, it's like they have to get every gift, every type of chocolate. I'm just like, if you're dating someone already, aren't you supposed to like tell them that you love them like every time you can, instead of having a particular day where you have to spend a lot of money on chocolate and all that? So I think it's kind of weird. I never really got on the hype of it. I just think Valentine's Day is kind of pointless. So yeah, that's number 6. Number 7 is movies have sucked lately. So I know that this is kind of the pandemic's fault, because a lot of decent movies were canceled or postponed because of the pandemic. But honestly, I just haven't really been interested in going to a movie theater in a long time. And the last movie that I saw in a movie theater was almost 2 years ago, when I went to Ghostbusters Afterlife. That movie was really good. Most of the titles that have been with movies coming out, it's just been kind of duh. It's just like, it's been bad. Like, I mean, there's a couple of good ones that I wanted to see, like the Elvis movie with Austin Butler, who I think deserves an Oscar. These past 2 years have not been very good for movies. Partially blame the pandemic for it, because I just think that the pandemic like ruined a lot of it. I haven't really been to a movie theater in a long time because just the movies look sucky. And I've heard this movie called Cocaine Bear is coming out, and it just looks stupid. And I know that they're trying to be like campy and it's not meant to be taken seriously, but I'm like, who thought this was a good idea to actually make a movie out of this? And actually, the Super Bowl is tonight as I'm recording this. These past few years for movies have just not been good in my opinion. So yeah, that's number 7. Number 8 is I don't mind clowns. So if you guys didn't see in my recent video called the Cartoon Circus review, I mentioned that I'd never really been that scared of clowns except when I was like 5 years old. But ever since then, I haven't really been scared of clowns that much. And I know that a lot of people have clownophobia, and I don't blame them. Like, it can be off-putting for some people with an unfamiliar face with a familiar body type. And I can kind of see that, because clowns, that's kind of one of the reasons why people are afraid of them. Well, I don't think clowns are like the funniest people ever. Like, I don't hate them. And I remember when I went to the Cartoon Circus recently, I thought they were okay. Like, and it's kind of weird because the clowns were so close to us, because I went with a friend, and when we were waiting in the line for the queue, these clowns would come by, and it was probably the closest I've been to a clown like that since Ronald McDonald when I was scared of him. I don't think clowns are that bad, but they're not like the funniest people ever, but I don't think they're that scary. So yeah, that's number 8. Number 9 is physical media should stay, and it's weird because like, I know that people are moving to streaming, and I don't mind streaming for the most part, but I think Netflix has kind of sucked lately. One of the problems I have to say is there's too many. There's too many streaming services. HBO, Paramount, Disney Plus. It's too many for us to choose from. And sadly, I feel like it's going to be turning into the whole cable thing again, where you have to pay a lot of money to see all these movies. It's just, I feel like that's going to be turning into that. And now that Netflix is introducing ads into their paid system, it just, I think it sucks. I just wish that physical media is not dying like it is right now, because I still like DVDs and VHS. Like, I mean, well, VHS was like a long time ago, but DVDs and Blu-rays, I just wish they were still successful in a way. One of the reasons why I like physical media is because there are some titles of like DVDs and stuff that aren't available on streaming services. I also like the feeling of having something in my hand with like a case, and you don't really have that with streaming. And I know streaming is a lot more convenient. Yeah, I just miss the days of having like a DVD like trend. And I know that DVDs and Blu-rays are like really starting to become more unnecessary nowadays, but I just really like physical media in general. So yeah, that's number 9. Number 10 is FNAF Five Nights at Freddy's is Dead. So I know this has been kind of the case for a couple years now, but honestly, like, these past few years of Five Nights at Freddy's have not been that great. And I was there with the whole hype in 2014 and 2015. And ever since then, it just feels like the Five Nights at Freddy's series has become more and more complicated for no reason. And honestly, that security breach game, I played it and I thought was absolutely not what Five Nights at Freddy's is. And honestly, Five Nights at Freddy's, I think the first game is my favorite because it had that perfect unsettling factor to it. I mean, the best one, other than that, in my opinion, is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. But honestly, I think the first one is my favorite. Hopefully this movie that they've been delaying for almost 10 years now is actually like gonna be decent, because the cast looks pretty promising, but I really want it to be good because honestly, I do kind of want there to be a little bit of a comeback for the series. I still think the series has potential, but I just think because it's just too complicated nowadays. When Sister Location came out, it just feels so complicated. I'm not a big fan of like complicated stories like that, where like all these YouTubers are trying to break down all these ideas for these games, because it's just too complicated. And I personally think that Five Nights at Freddy's should have ended at 3, but that's just my opinion. But hopefully this movie that's going to be coming out is actually decent. It's not going to be like disappointing. So yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. I kind of wanted to do another video of Unpopular Opinions because the last one I did was 11 months ago. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.